They did find him, and when the local county sheriff went down there, there was a bear on the body, and the officer tried to shoo away the bear, but the bear wasn't giving up his dinner. The Tail of the Dragon is not only the most famous and exciting road we have in America, but it's also the most dangerous, probably by far. Unfortunately, every year we have several fatalities there. Most are motorcycle related, with the 500,000 people a year that drive through the Dragon. It's a numbers game. You're gonna have some idiots and accidents. I can only think of a handful of car fatalities, but during our busy season, it's almost like we average an accident a day, where you may have 3-4 days without an accident, but then you've got that Saturday where there were 8 wrecks in a day. So between that, you're gonna have some bad ones. The one that kind of sticks out and is really the most gruesome is at the end of season last year, 2024. We had a experienced sport bike rider that went missing, and his family knew he was at the Dragon, so they're searching for him. If you've been before, you've seen all the photographers staged along the Dragon taking photos as you drive by. They spoke to the photographers and looked to see where they had a photo of him and where they didn't have a photo, and realized, hey, he had to have went off the mountain from this side to this side, this section to this section. And after the last photo was taken, he was less than a mile from that area where he went off. They did find him, and when the local county sheriff went down there, there was a bear on the body, and the officer tried to shoo away the bear, but the bear wasn't giving up his dinner. So the officer went back up to his car, got his rifle out, and came down and put the bear down, obviously, so they could get the remains, take care of that situation. So that was very horrific and unfortunate. But that's one of the reasons you don't go to the Dragon alone. It's always good to go with a friend, especially if you're on a motorcycle, ride with a friend. But it's good to go in a group, so if something does happen, you've got immediate help. In our store at the Tennessee side at the bottom of the Dragon, called the 129 Hub, it's a restaurant souvenir store, so we'll have people hang out and get videos as cars are going by. We got the biggest parking lot in the area, so all the major car rallies come through. We had an older couple on motorcycles there with their daughter-in-law, and they came in, and you could tell something was wrong. And they just rode in from North Carolina, and towards that border, this was kind of the first place that they had to come and stop and unwind. But the couple was bringing their daughter-in-law to the Dragon to teach her how to ride a motorcycle while their son was deployed overseas. So this was their way of, hey, we'll teach her what you enjoy doing so we can all do it as a family and surprise you when you come back. Luckily, she was fine, but they witnessed around a blind corner, which of the 318 curves and 11 miles on the Dragon, 300 of them are blind corners. 3 of them were behind a Cadillac, and another sport bike coming the opposite direction passed in a blind corner and hit that Cadillac head on. That was right in front of them. He didn't make it, and they were there trying to revive him and hold his hand as he was passing. That, I don't know if she still rides, if she rides anymore after that, but that was a heck of a way to learn how to ride a sport bike, which that was a mistake trying to learn on the Dragon 1, but you see something like that and you may change your mind. That's why there's no excuse for passing. There's no passing zone anywhere on that road. Bad decisions have bad consequences, unfortunately. I am heading towards the Dragon to make a run. I do a lot of scouting runs for my driving events and change the routes for every drive that I do. whether I have to do something backwards or add a road, my routes are always changing because I have so many repeat clients that come do my drives. They're not going to make the trip, from Miami to do the same route that they did last time. So I've got to always change that up. Out doing a scout run, and I have two Harleys come up on me pretty hot where I'm going slow. I'm about 3 miles before you get to my store, and it's a passing. You have a passing zone. And the speed limit's 45 through there, but because it's the only passing zone, the cops sit there and pick people off all day long because you're stuck behind a pickup truck or some trikes or whatever creeping through there. That's your opportunity to get around. So the cops just sit there and it's just shooting fish in a barrel. So I'm going slow through there knowing this is a hot speed trap, and evidently these bikes coming up behind me had never been to this area before. It was funny, they were trying to get me to go faster. So took it easy through there. And then after we went past my store, there is a corner that I've taken a million times, and it is perfectly banked where I know how quick I can take it, never come close to touching brakes. So I kind of hit it through there pretty good, and just to show these guys that are riding my butt that they don't need to be. And so I gun it through there, take that corner pretty hot, and I guess the guy thinks he's a good rider and can do the same thing. So I look in my rear view to see where he is. It's a pretty blind corner. He goes all the way across the other side of the road. Luckily, a car wasn't coming the opposite direction, or he would have hit him head on. And he starts fishtailing, and then I see him flipping in the air. And his bike is flipping and his body is flipping. And then there are a couple cars coming the other way. And knowing that they're going to stop because he just crashed in front of them, my thought process is I need to get him help as quickly as possible. And chances are, if I keep going, I'm going to find a cop to get him help. And so at that point, then I really take off looking for a cop this time. And sure enough, at the Harley store, there's an unmarked county SUV. Luckily, I know it's an unmarked SUV. That's why, in my opinion, you shouldn't have unmarked police cars, because when you need them, if you didn't know any better, you would have just kept on going. But I know if you don't have roof racks, if it's an Explorer with no roof racks, all civilian Explorers have roof racks. So, but knew it was an unmarked officer. So went into the Harley store looking for the officer, pulled in the Harley store pretty hot. All the bikers are looking at me like, what the hell is this guy doing, coming in here hot like that? But run in looking for the cop. Like, hey, this guy, really bad accident, 3 miles down the road, to get him some help. And then end up seeing his posts on a local Dragon Facebook page where he had 3 surgeries and his rods put in his leg, kind of stuff. So it was a nasty one, but that's where, if you've never been on this road, take it easy and don't let your ego put you in a bad spot. At our store, the 129 Hub, we had a group of retired New York City police officers come on their Harleys. It was a group of them, 8-10 guys. And they were there with flyers of their missing friend. And he had been missing for a couple days. They hadn't heard from him. They knew right by our store. We have a cell phone tower on the property right behind me, a Verizon tower. Unless you have Verizon, you're not getting service right anywhere in the area. But he had a ping maybe off of our Wi-Fi, but they knew that somewhere near my store was the last notification of where he was. So they were prepared to find him. And they brought flyers to circulate, and we were posting it on our store, going to help find this guy who'd been missing for several days. One of good buddy of theirs. So that was real cool to see these retired New York City cops coming to get their buddy. They did find him. He was off of Foothills Parkway, and he had been missing for 7 or 8 days and had fallen off the side. They did find him, and he was alive when they found him, which is crazy to be, down the side of a mountain for a week. But he didn't survive. Took him, obviously to the hospital immediately, and he didn't end up making it. That was a sad story, but it was cool to see your friends, your coworkers driving all the way down the East Coast coming to, find you. So another reason, especially for motorcycles, to don't go ride by yourself or let somebody know where you're going to be. This was 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even longer than that, but this was a kind of a big local story. I think this one even made it to the news, where you had a motorcycle go off the mountain and he was hurt down there, thought he wasn't going to make it out. He took a video for his family and telling his family, what happened and I love you, that, giving his goodbyes on video to his family. And luckily survived. They did find him. He still rides to this day, but that's got to be a life-changing moment to be recording your video for your family as you think you're not going to make it. Luckily all is well, but that's pretty wild.
Successful car purchasing is all about knowing your buying power and being able to move quickly, and the best way to do that is getting pre-qualified with Premier Financial Services. Call one of these numbers, speak to one of their representatives, fill out their application, and then you'll know exactly how much car you can buy. You'll approach a seller, tell them you're already qualified, you've got your simple lease set up from Premier Financial, and you'll be able to close very, very quickly. That's why Premier is one of the most powerful partners in the world of exotic car financing, and that's why I turn to them every time I go out and try to buy something crazy.